let's check another thing regarding this progress indicator. So we're gonna check that this dot will be of a proper color based on the current value of the percentage. So we are specifying the class for this dot by using Tailwind CSS class. And as you can see, when I'm gonna change this class, the color of this indicator will be changing as well. So I'm going to switch over to the terminal, duplicate the last test. In here I'm gonna specify proper description and say that it uses proper progress indicator color. And then let's just see what text content we're gonna get after rendering the header progress component. Actually, based on the text content of this component, we cannot make sure that the proper Tailwind CSS class has been used to apply color to the progress indicator, because we need to check the class. So to be able to check if the proper class has been applied, we have to print out HTML content of the component. And in here, we can see the class responsible for the background color of this indicator. So let's check that this class will match current percentage value. First of all, let's open up the header progress component implementation. Right here, we're applying that class, and that class comes from the composable function useTotalProgress. We have already mocked the return value of this function in the previous lesson, and right here, for the color class, we were using the class which corresponds to the blue color. So I'm going to check it in our test that the rendered markup of the component is going to contain the following class which corresponds to the blue color, like so. And now let's remove this print statement and check test execution in the terminal. But the moment I'm going to change the value for the color class computed property, let's say I'm gonna use in here red instead of blue, in that case, test is going to fail just like we expect, because we're checking that the color of the indicator will be blue. So moving on, and let's create the next testing scenario. In this scenario, we're going to check that when clicking on the progress indicator, we have to be redirected to the progress page. Let's try it out in the browser first. I'm gonna navigate to a different page, and then by clicking on this progress indicator, I'm gonna have to be redirected to the progress page. And that is exactly what is happening in here. In the test, after rendering the component, I'm gonna trigger click event to emulate click on this component. And as you can see inside this component, we have this click listener, which is going to call navigate function when the click occurs. And let's just check that this function will be called. It comes from another module called router. So in our test, we can create spy to spy for this function. Let's call this spy navigate spy, and then call method spy on. As the first argument, we're specifying the module where that function we're about to spy on comes from. And as a second argument, let's specify the name for the function navigate. Of course, we need to get access to the router module, so I'm gonna add in here an import statement, change the path to this module, and let's get back to our test. So we are ready to write our expectations, and the first thing will be to check that navigate function was called one time after we're gonna click on the header progress component. And also we're gonna check that this function will be called exactly with those arguments that we expect to see. In this case, there will be only one argument, which is a page name enumeration value called progress. So I'm going to use the same value in our test. And sure enough, the test is going to pass. As you can see, it is passing. And now let's just try to remove that click listener from the component. In this case, we expect the test to fail. And indeed, it is failing. But also, if we're going to change the value that we are passing inside this navigate handler, in that case, the test is also going to fail. So at the end, since we have used mock in this test, let's restore all of them. And we restore mocks by calling method restore all mocks, like so. And that's about it. Let's continue in the next lesson.